Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to the start of a brand new series here on F124. Yes, of course, earlier on this week we finished off the My Team career mode on the channel, but I didn't want to leave you guys with no F1 career mode for the foreseeable future. I've spoke about it a lot kind of in other videos and things like that, but the last kind of series I wanted to do on this game was salvaging Sauber. My goal is basically to try and get Sauber to a situation where at least we'll race winners, maybe we can win a world championship before F125. Of course, obviously, if you're watching this on the main channel, all the rest of the episodes from this series are going to be going live over on Matt212 Gameplay, my second channel. We're trying to hit 6,000 subs over there at the moment, so if you can hit that like and that sub button, it would be greatly appreciated. Obviously, this series is following like the normal driver career mode setup inside this game, and yeah, we are going to be alongside Valtteri Bottas, ready for the all-new season. Obviously, replacing Zhou Guanyu inside the game. Of course, we've had emails through from Alessandro Aluni Bravi, and obviously just a little bit of information from Mark as well about the team. Obviously, as we head into the new season, we are the worst ranked car on the grid, actually by a little margin at the moment. So the early season goal will be to try and get as many upgrades on the car as we can. We are rocking a custom 16 race calendar for this season. So we start in Bahrain, we've got Jeddah, Australia, Japan as normal. We skip the two sprint races of Shanghai and Miami before we're back in Europe for the Emilia-Romagna Monaco Grand Prix. Canada up for round 7, and then Barcelona, Austria, Silverstone, Belgium and Italy for the European leg of the year before a 4-race flyaway. Brazil, Las Vegas, Qatar and Abu Dhabi to finish off the year. So we've still got 3 sprint weekends throughout the course of the campaign as well. 35% races for this series, one-shot qualifying. Like I said, I don't want these videos to be too long, so we're just running some shorter races, and most importantly of all, we are going to be rocking Cockpit Cam for this one. It's always something I find quite fun to do inside the game as well, so hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun with it. You know, just a bit of a series without too much pressure towards the end of F124. But yeah, with all that intro then out of the way, let's head then here to Bahrain.
The long wait is over. This is it, a brand new season. And before the show gets well and truly underway, we've got the all-important matter of a free practice session. It's great to be back. So much unknown before we get underway. So what will be going through the drivers' minds as they get ready for the new season?
The faster you can work around the circuit conditions and get the car tailored to your liking, the better, and then you can just focus on the job in hand in terms of lap times. But first of all, you've got to get the car feeling right.
Well, I've also opted to try and make this even more immersive for no HUD enabled inside this game as well. So we're going to be relying on Mark throughout this season for extra information during Grand Prix, but obviously in qualifying anyway. We've just got to try and lock in as best as we can. I think, to be honest, if we get the car any higher than the back row, we should probably be quite happy. Ultimate AI, of course, as always, inside F124. And of course, now the fun is trying to work out where the front end is and having the confidence through the corners as well there. But yeah, obviously in the Cockpit Cam, I don't think the lack of HUD makes too much of a difference. If anything, it actually kind of helps out a little bit more, because it gives you a little bit less to be distracted by. And, you know, you do still get some of the important information, your battery usage, your current position, everything like that, still showing up on the screen. But hopefully, yeah, you know, just trying to make this challenge a little bit more interesting. Let me know, of course, if it is something you guys do like for this series, because, of course, obviously, if everybody hates it, then I will go back to normal for future episodes as well then. But at the moment, we're quicker than one car as we make our way up in towards Sector 3. No idea who it is, though. As Max Verstappen, I'm going to guess, is the driver currently at the front of the order. One more corner to go then. Yeah, so far this lap has felt okay, but certainly nothing special. Send it in through that final apex. Try and use the rest of the battery as we make our way up towards the line. We're going to qualify P19 on the grid here in Bahrain. That's honestly about where I'd expect us to be. Well, there we go. Verstappen on the pole ahead of Norris and Oscar Piastri. Both Ferraris, both Mercedes. And then Sergio Perez down in P8 there. Followed by both Aston Martins rounding out our top 10. We ended up 3/10 slower than Valtteri Bottas at the end of first qualifying there. You can see Logan Sargent, the only driver slower than us. Can't really say I'm too surprised by any of those results. When we look up and down the order, Yuki Tsunoda did a good job up in P12. But anyway, let's head then ready for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Months of rumour and speculation all comes to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best of course at turn 1 and then another soon after into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Leclerc, Hamilton, Russell, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Gasly, Tsunoda, Ocon, Hülkenberg, Albon, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Bottas, Mr. Monaco and Logan Sargent. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And we welcome you to the commentary box overlooking the circuit. I'm Alex Jakes and I'm joined by Anthony Davidson. Well, welcome back after all the testing, the build-up. It all now comes down to this.
Everyone's G'd up for this one. They've done the testing, like you say. The drivers will be revving inside, heart rates going, trying to burst out their chest at this moment. With that anticipation, who's got the speed? We're going to learn now, once and for all.
Well, I mean, it's a first ever Formula One Grand Prix. You're always just trying to look to stay out of trouble, aren't you? Get to the checkered flag in your first ever outing. We're going to opt, yeah, you know what, we'll stick with the soft compound tyres early on and then move over to the hards. I did and ah about doing 50% races, but ultimately one-stop strategies are the same everywhere on this game either way. So I thought this would just be a little bit more fun and allow me to do a few more races in this series as well then. But ready on the grid, our first ever Formula One Grand Prix for Sauber. Hopefully the start of an all-new journey. It is 5 red lights. And it is lights out, and away we go there. Bottas gets off to a particularly good getaway to make our way down in towards turn 1. We're just going to try and stay out of trouble in towards that first corner. We don't even have the proximity arrows. Whoa! As there you go, that's proven that, because I had no idea where Sargent was behind me in towards the first corner. They desperately need to try and sort out where the mirrors are inside these games, because the fact, obviously, unless you're running an ultra-wide, you can't see where the mirrors are is really, really disappointing there, as we're on the outside of one of the Haas cars up at the top of the hill. I think we are cleanly through. Let's hope we are. Maybe for round 2 I'll re-enable the proximity arrows, because, yeah, without having mirrors, that's kind of all you can really hope for inside this game there. But down the inside of Valtteri Bottas at the hairpin, at the... Oh, we've actually, yeah, done pretty well off the start here. Made up a few places nice and early on, up to P17 then on lap 1, of course. Like I said, the goal is just going to be trying to hang on to people. As Ricciardo then having a look down the inside of one of our Haas cars. Admittedly, they are, I think that's Hülkenberg. Oh, hello. Hülkenberg there, yeah, is on a hard compounded tyre at the start of this one, so we would expect to be able to go quicker than these guys. So I think he's still just right down the inside. Again, I'm definitely going to have to enable proximity arrows ready for round 2 then. But yeah, lap 1 has been a pretty successful one. Now obviously we'll wait for the DRS to get enabled. Let's have a look. Oh, I can't even see what I'm asking him. That doesn't really work then, does it? I need to be able to have the radio comms. Otherwise, we're just kind of going around for 20 laps by ourselves. But... sending it then on Ricciardo at turn 1. A little bit of wheel banging. Perhaps slightly too optimistic too early. So we'll get the DRS then up the hill. I think we've already broken the radio inside the game as well. So I'm trying to look around the outside of the Australian. Whoa, get the power down off the top of the hill there. And I think we are just about around him as well. So up into P15 early on. That's been pretty good. Well, I've just gone and tweaked the MFD with a couple of little changes, so we've now got proximity arrows, and obviously we can actually see the HUD. Of course, the other thing I'd realised was that we weren't even going to be able to pick strategy, so it seems very, very odd.
Softs. Their tyres are 3 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. Time last lap, 1 minute 32.3, 0.5 seconds.
There you go. The goal, of course, early on, I think, is going to be just see if we can go a bit quicker than Alex Albon in this Grand Prix. I think we're able to keep Ricciardo at an arm's length, but of course, those Haas cars later on in the afternoon, they're going to definitely come alive towards the end of this race, so it's going to be about building up enough of a buffer against them. You can see there is definitely a big train, though, in front, so if they keep all slowing each other down, we can definitely get closer. Well, perhaps I should have factored in, of course, you know, doing this series in Cockpit Cam, I should have picked a car that is slightly better looking inside this game. Obviously, the Sauber, I get that, well, there's about 4 of you out there that like the kind of neon green paint on this car. I am not one of them, though. I mean, when I go to sleep tonight, probably that bright green is all I'm going to be able to see. And clearly I can't kind of give the paint job some stick, otherwise the car tries to spin out on me. Well, we've definitely taken a lot out of these tyres early on, and those couple of little moments certainly aren't going to do me any favours. Ricciardo will fly back past us in towards turn 1 there. We've got to work with the Australian, though, obviously before the pit stop window, because it could bring us closer to the cars in front again. I guess we're kind of doing our own version of Gabriele Bortoletto's start to F1 life. Obviously going up against a very experienced teammate at Sauber, who themselves obviously started out Formula 1 as a Williams rookie, but yeah, I think Bortoletto in 2025 is going to have a good year. Well, I could be tempted to dive into the pit lane at the end of this lap as well. This is not what we need. Ricciardo and I, wheel to wheel in towards turn 1. No idea who's got the DRS there, but we'll get the position at the first corner. It is Ricciardo once again with the DRS. I'm sure he's going to try and get back to our inside up at the top of the hill. Not quite able to that time round, as, again, Daniel Ricciardo, of course, a driver with a lot of experience under his belt in a Formula 1 car. But we are probably, I'd say now, within about 2 seconds of the Williams. So I'm tempted to try and box early here. Try to undercut a little bit closer. Getting completely where the wrong menu settings are. That's going to be one big thing as well, learning where all the menu settings are for radio comms. Can we get like a full race update? There it is. Let's see what's going on.
P15. You're in P15. Albon ahead. Okay, they're on old softs. Ricciardo behind you now. Less than a second separates you. Okay, they're on old softs. And your pit window opens in 2 laps' time.
Well, the team want us to extend this first stint a little bit longer, but I think I've absolutely shredded through these soft compound tyres early on in the Grand Prix. I'm sure you could probably go soft medium here. I'm not going to risk it to make our way out the final corner. So, rookie driver, first one into the pit lane then here in Bahrain. I think we just about avoided a penalty there. Not entirely sure. We haven't had anything flash up or anything else, so hopefully we're going to be safe in that regard. I've still got to try and nail like the pit entry turn-in point and things like that, which is quite difficult.
Go, go, go! That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting.
That felt like a good pit stop. I guess it was a good pit stop. Let's hope it was a good pit stop.
Stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
So as we make our way back out onto the circuit, though, cold, hard compound tyres here in Bahrain. There was not much grip on those down at turn 1. Well, Valtteri Bottas then just been told by the team he's in for his pit stop, so hopefully we're going to get the jump on at least one car then as they make their way through the pit lane. Of course, both those Haas cars should be going a fair bit longer in this GP, but you can see there's a few cars coming back out of the pit lane then. We've got the jump on at least 3 drivers, and there is the Alpine and the Aston Martin still battling at turn 1. So I think we've actually made the undercut work here just a little bit. Just got to try and get in the range.
The car ahead of you's just fitted the hard tyres. Car ahead now on the hard compound.
Yeah, there we go. I would assume most drivers will be on hards to the end of the Grand Prix. Oh, there we go. One of the Williams then. That's got to be Albon making his way out the pit lane alongside, I assume, yeah, that's Yuki Tsunoda. You can see the number 22 on that car. So Albon looks like he's lost out in kind of all the pit window stuff there. I think Ricciardo now is just closing in on me a little bit. Of course, we've still got both those Haas cars to pit, but they will be fast towards the end of the race. The goal now is trying to get and stay in the range of Tsunoda. Well, again then, I think we've got to try and work with Daniel Ricciardo here. You can see Tsunoda closing in on Albon. Oh, yeah, we're going to see Ricciardo. Yes, he will. Ricciardo, whoa, goes for the move, but kind of moves across us into the braking zone there. Maybe I could have just backed out of it a little bit earlier, but it's so difficult to know where the front end is on one of these cars. I've just got to hope Ricciardo can go. Otherwise, yeah, we're just going to start tripping over each other and not get to his teammate. And it felt like Ricciardo might just be able to start closing in on his teammate here, but pretty much as soon as he's got past me, his pace has started to fall off once again. It's to the outside wall of the Australian.
Consider changing mode on your MFD or lift a little with gentle braking into corners to recharge it.
That's exactly what we need to see as well then. Tsunoda and Albon battling wheel to wheel just up in front. As now both those Haas cars have pit. We're back into P15 of this Grand Prix. We got yellows out. Oh, Ricciardo thought about going for a move as one of the Aston Martins has spun. I'm going to assume that's Lance Stroll, but we're up into P14. Well, here we are then, watching on board. It is, of course, Lance Stroll that makes the error here. Certainly not two-time world champion Fernando Alonso. Gets to the top of the hill. Just a little bit too aggressive on the throttle there. And we'll go for a bit of a lazy half spin. Does luckily get out of the way. You'd expect Lance Stroll just to move straight back on into the middle of the circuit. But yeah, the Aston Martin man has dropped right to the back of the order. Oh, that's important as well. We're finally into the DRS range of Tsunoda and Albon just in front, so we've still got a fair few laps to go with this Grand Prix, but as long as we can just settle in a little bit closer to them, make sure we don't lose this again. We've got a free defence from Ricciardo. Oh, Tsunoda again having a look past Alex Albon in towards turn one, and once more, I think we're going to see these two go wheel to wheel there. A little bit of wheel banging that time round, as Albon again will give him the racing room on the exit the corner. And all this is doing is allowing us to get a little bit closer there. I think Tsunoda that time.
Engine very hot. Let's try and pull
Mark, we got other things on our minds.
Things down.
Come on, mate. We got other stuff to be worried about at the moment as we go for a big send to the inside of Yuki Tsunoda there. Up at an unlucky P13. But Ricciardo might, Albon even might use that opportunity to try and just get away a little bit. I think that is one of the Alpines in P11. So I believe Alpine, yeah, just got a little bit of a margin over your four backmarker teams. But we are really getting everything we can out of this. No! No! For God's sake! As if we've had so many mechanical failures in our other series. We kickstart this Alpha Sauber career mode, and we've had an engine failure in race 1. How much bad luck do I get on this game, man? I genuinely was thinking there we were closing in on the Alpine towards the end of the Grand Prix. Maybe P11 was going to be doable. Apparently not. We are out of it in our first ever Formula 1 Grand Prix in the cruelest way possible.
You've heard this one before. Max Verstappen takes the victory.
Well, all that off-season work clearly paying off here today. A brilliant way to start the season with a solid victory. It's a real good confidence boost as well, and you feel like that's going to really propel them forward through to the next race coming up.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
Well, there we are then. Max Verstappen will take victory here in Bahrain ahead of Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz, just beating out Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri to the final podium position there. Russell comes through for 6th ahead of Alonso, Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez, and Pierre Gasly will round out the top 10 there, bringing home a point for Alpine to kickstart the year. Further down the order, Bottas would come through for P15 in the end. Magnussen would would only finish P16 there. It'd be myself and Hulkenberg that would both fail to see the checkered flag. But I mean, you look at even then, our 32.0 fastest lap of the day, 7/10 clear of what Valtteri Bottas was able to do. We definitely had good pace in the car towards the end of the afternoon there. But, of course, that's, you know, it's me on F124. It was always going to happen, wasn't it? Obviously, Drivers' Championship exactly the same as our race results. Constructors-wise, though, McLaren lead Red Bull by just 2 points at the top there, and Ferrari, Red Bull and Ferrari, tied for P2. Mercedes, Aston Martin and Alpine all with points on the board as well. Luckily, thanks to Bottas' result, we are ahead of Haas at the moment. So Sauber aren't quite in last place yet in the Constructors' Championship, but that race ended up being more of a taster as to what's to come inside this series, rather than kind of what I was hoping it would be for round one. Thank you all so much for watching, though. Please do make sure you leave a like, get yourselves subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready in the Jeddah Corniche.